Hey everyone, I'm your host Jibo, and this is the second presentation to my series called Seeing Eye to Eye.
I've got one that can see.
Without any further ado, let's get right into it. Drewski can be seen on the left with rapper Drake. Drake in the top right can be seen with Adam 22, who in the bottom right leads us to rapper X. Rapper X has a song here with Trippie Redd. Trippie has a song with Drake. Drake has a song with Yeet. Yeet has a song with NBA Youngboy. NBA Youngboy is followed by this person who goes by MVChew23 on Instagram. And Chew has an eye of Horus on his arm. Now through NBA Youngboy, let's go back to Yeet, who can be seen here with Andrew Callahan. Andrew is followed by this guy named Nick Jordan. Nick Jordan has an eye on his arm. Again, it's right here. Nick can be seen with his partner Katja, who just like him, has an eye tattoo. Now through Nick, let's go back to Andrew, who can be seen with Yeet, who has the song with Drake, who can be seen here with Aiden Ross. Aiden Ross was mentioned by this YouTuber named Tectone, and Tectone has an eye on his chest. Aiden can also be seen with IShowSpeed, who can be seen here with Neymar Jr. Neymar Jr. is followed by this guy named Double S, and Double S, even though it's hard to see, has an eye tattoo on his arm. Now through Neymar, let's go back to IShowSpeed, who can be seen with Aiden Ross. Aiden can be seen with Ashton Hall. Ashton Hall is followed by this guy named Matthew Diaz, and Matthew has an eye on his chest. Now through Ashton, let's go back to Aiden, who can be seen here with Lil Uzi Vert. Lil Uzi has a song with this guy named DB, and DB is following this guy named CT Fletcher. CT Fletcher is followed by this guy named Matt Finn. Matt Finn, even though it's hard to see, has an eye on his arm. Now through CT, let's go back to DB, who has the song with Lil Uzi, who can be seen with Aiden, who can be seen here with MGK. MGK can be seen with this guy on the right named Pat DeCapper. Pat has an eye tattoo on his neck. Pat can be seen here with his wife Lorena Capper. Lorena is followed by a lady named Anastasia Inc. Anastasia has an eye tattoo on her. Now through Lorena, let's go back to Pat, who is with MGK, who can be seen here with Young Thug. Young Thug has a song where he mentions McDonald's. McDonald's has worked with Bill Kalitz, and Bill Kalitz is followed by this guy named Zico Benach. Zico has an eye tattoo on his back. At this point, there's no way you can deny what I'm showing you. Bill is also followed by this guy named Lucas, who has an eye tattoo on his arm. Again and again, it's right here. Now through Bill Kalitz, let's go back to McDonald's, a company mentioned by Young Thug, who has a song with Trippie Redd. In this Trippie Redd video here, you see the unknown woman on the left with an all-seeing eye tattoo that's barely visible. Now through Trippie, let's go to Neon, who can be seen with YG, who can be seen with Nipsey Hussle, who can be seen with this guy named Jason Berry, an active Freemason at a lodge in Culver City, California. At the same lodge where Jason Berry is at, you can see this guy to the far left here named Merrick Hammer. Merrick, who is another Freemason, is following Timothy Hogan. Timothy is following Brian Steele Medina, and Brian has all these eye tattoos here. What you're seeing is very obvious. On the same post where Brian had this shown, you can see a guy named Jason Kavari comment. And guess what he has? An all-seeing eye on his neck. On the same post where we see Jason with Brian, we also see this guy named Ilya Cascade. Ilya can be seen with this guy named D. Van Casso, and D. Van Casso has an eye tattoo on his arm. Even though it's hard to see here, I found a somewhat HD picture that confirms it is an eye. D. Van Casso tattooed this unknown lady here, and as you can see, she has an eye on her arm, which again shows the obvious. In the same photo with Ilya and D. Van Casso, we see a guy named Eric Hare. Eric Hare tattooed this unknown guy here. As you can see, he has an eye tattoo on his chest, and a second one on his stomach. Now through Eric, let's go back to Ilya, who had posted about Brian Steele's tattoo. Brian Steele is following this guy named Kenneth Boulette, and Kenneth has an eye tattoo on his back. Now through Brian, let's go back to Timothy, and through Timothy, back to Merrick. Through Merrick, let's go back to Culver City's Lodge, and through Culver City's Lodge, let's go back to Jason Berry, who was with Nipsey Hussle, who was with YG, who was with Neon. Neon can be seen with 1900 Rugrat. 1900 Rugrat has a song with rapper Baby Chief Do It, and Baby Chief Do It was posted by this guy named Twin Soja. As you can see, he has an eye tattoo on his chest. Now through Baby Chief Do It, let's go back to Rugrat, who is with Neon, who can be seen here with Aiden Ross. Aiden can be seen with Shaquille O'Neal, who has a song with Coyote for Hire. One of the members of Coyote for Hire has an all-seeing eye in his stomach. Now through Shaq, let's go back to Aiden, who can be seen here with Jake Paul. Jake Paul can be seen with Tana Mongo. Tana is followed by Willow Harper. Willow Harper posted this unknown guy here who has an all-seeing eye tattoo on his back. This makes Willow being followed by this lady named Sabrina significant because Sabrina has an eye tattoo on her. Again, it's right here. Now through Sabrina, let's go back to Willow. And through Willow, let's go back to Tana. Tana is followed by Emma Nortz. Emma Nortz is followed by this guy named Sun Leo. And Sun Leo has an eye tattoo on his back. Now through Emma, let's go back to Tana, who could be seen with Jake Paul. Jake Paul can be seen with Aiden Ross, who could be seen with YouTuber Vitaly, who could be seen with Ryan Garcia, who's followed by Morgenstern. Morgenstern is also followed by this guy named Lexa Savkin, and Lexa has an eye tattoo on his chest. Morgenstern is also followed by this person who goes by No Mercy on Instagram, and No Mercy has an eye tattoo on his arm. Again, it's right here. Now through Morgenstern, let's go back to Ryan Garcia, who could be seen with Jake Paul, who could be seen with Aiden Ross, who could be seen here with 21 Savage. 21 Savage has a song with Summer Walker. Summer Walker is followed by this lady named Brittany Brock. Brittany has an eye tattoo on her. Through Summer, let's go back to 21 Savage, who could be seen with Aiden. Aiden can be seen here talking about Hassan Piker. Hassan Piker is followed by this guy named Tommy Vowles, and Tommy has an eye tattoo on his hand. He posts about this lady named Cena, who has eyes on her hands too. Not to mention this other lady here named Allie Mayhem, who has an eye tattoo on her arm. Tommy also posted this third unknown woman, who has an eye tattoo as well. Tommy is followed by this lady named Julieta, who has an eye tattoo on her. Tommy's also followed by this person named Helen Hattori, and Helen has an eye on her. Now through Tommy Vowles, let's go back to Hassan Piker, and through him, back to Aiden Ross. Through Aiden, let's go to Rick Ross, who could be seen with Jimmy Levy, who's followed by this guy named Gremlin Raps. Gremlin has an eye tattoo on his arm. Now through Jimmy, let's go back to Rick Ross, who has worked with Warner Bros. Warner Bros. Is followed by this guy named Bennett Knoll, and Bennett has an eye tattoo on his chest. Bennett is followed by this lady named Cora Diamond, and Cora has an alien tattoo with an eye here, not to mention a second all-seeing eye on her arm. Cora is also following this guy named TX Prince, and TX Prince has an eye tattoo as well. Now through Cora, let's go back to Bennett, who leads us back to Warner Bros., who leads us back to Rick Ross, who can be seen again with Jimmy Levy. Jimmy Levy can be seen with Khaled Amaleh, and Khaled Amaleh commented on this post by Check the Star. Check the Star was posted by this person named Baby Rips, and on the same post, we see this lady named Kendra comment. Kendra has an eye tattoo on her. Kendra was also tagged on this post here with a guy named K. Berg. As you can see, he's no different. Everywhere we go, it's the same stuff. Now through Kendra, let's go back to Baby Rips, who could be seen here with the Jaden Moon. The Jaden Moon has an eye tattoo on her. Again, it's right here. Now through Baby Rips, let's go back to Check the Star, who commented on this post by a guy named Packy Visions. Packy Visions has an eye tattoo on him. Now through Check the Star, let's go to rapper XXXTentacion's baby mom and his son Gekyum. X's baby mom is named Genesis, and she could be seen with Gekyum here. This leads us to Genesis being with X, who has a song with Jimmy Levy, who could be seen with Donald Trump, who could be seen with Jelly Roll, who could be seen with Bunny. Bunny interviewed Joanna Angel and Aaron Smallhands. Aaron Smallhands is followed by Rena Kitty, and Rena has an eye tattoo on her hand. Rena is followed by a person who goes by Lena Grimes, and Lena can be seen on the right with this unknown guy on the left who has an eye tattoo on his arm. Again, it's right here. This unknown guy that we saw with her can be seen with this guy on the right named Mint Sickle. Mint Sickle has 2 eye tattoos on his chest. Again, we're seeing what we're seeing, and it's not really hard to see. It boils down to this. I am what I am. This might explain the third all-seeing eye that he has on his hand. He could be seen with this lady named Lex, who has an eye tattoo on her. Again, it's right here. Not through Mint Sickle, who is with Lex. Let's go back to this guy, who can be seen here with Lena Grimes. Lena can be seen with this unknown lady on the left. And of course, she has an eye on her too. Now through Lena, who is with that unknown lady, let's go back to Rena Kitty, who leads us back to Aaron Smallhands, who was interviewed by Bunny, who leads us back to Jelly Roll, who is with Trump, who's followed by this guy named Sacco Danielin. Sacco has an eye on his chest. Now through Trump, let's go to Joe Rogan, who can be seen here with David Goggins. David Goggins is followed by this guy named Junior Personal. Junior has an eye on his chest. I mean, come on. I don't really need to keep going, but I will. Through David Goggins, let's go back to Joe Rogan, who could be seen with Francis Gano. Francis was posted by this company here called Now Hair Time. This company posted this unknown guy here who has an eye in his hand, the second unknown guy here who has an eye in his arm, and finally this third guy here who has an eye in his leg. Now through this company, let's go back to Francis, who is with Joe, who can be seen with Trump. Trump can be seen here with Nicky Jam. Nicky Jam is followed by Javier Baez. Javier has an eye in his arm. Now through Nicky, let's go back to Trump, who can be seen here with Annual AA. Annual has a song with Almighty, who can be seen here with this guy named Dandy Real. Dandy has an eye tattoo on his arm. Now through Almighty, let's go back to Annual AA, who can be seen with Trump, who can be seen with Jimmy Levy, who had posted here with this guy named True Hollywood Story commenting. True Hollywood Story was tagged by this guy named Jaber, and Jaber has an eye in his finger. True Hollywood Story was also tagged here on a post about Goya XO. Goya XO has an eye of Horus on his hand, which should make all of what I'm showing you much more understandable. This might explain the other eye tattoo he has on his shoulder. I mean, come on. Now, if that wasn't enough, then finding out he's a third all-seeing eye on his arm, which is also the eye of Horus again, well, that should seal the deal on what we're seeing. It is hard to see, but it's right here. Now through True Hollywood Story, who led us to Goya, let's go back to Jimmy Levy, who can be seen with Khaled Amelie. Khaled can be seen with this guy named Johnny De Leon, who can be seen with Kodak Black. Kodak is followed by this guy named Zane Vitt, and Zane has an eye tattoo on his back. Through Kodak, let's go to Travis Scott, who has a song with Waka Flocka Flame, who could be seen here with a guy named Lil KK. Lil KK can be seen in this photo here with a lady named Nelly, and Nelly has an eye of Horus on her chest. Now through Lil KK, let's go back to Waka, who could be seen here with rapper Quest2RR. Quest2RR is followed by Mika Hinton, and Mika has an eye tattoo on her shoulder. Mika can also be seen here with Lil Stag. Lil Stag can be seen on the far right with this guy named Dom. In the top left picture, Dom has an all-seeing eye in his arm. In the three other pictures, you see how Lil Stag has not only an eye of Horus, but an eye tattoo on his shoulder as well, which means both Dom and Lil Stag pictured together have eye tattoos. Now through Lil Stag, let's go back to Mika, who leads us back to Quest2RR, who can be seen with Waka Flocka Flame, who has the song with Travis Scott. Travis Scott can be seen with Metro Boomin. Metro Boomin was posted by this unknown guy here named The Drop Shot on TikTok. As you can see, The Drop Shot has an eye tattoo with Egyptian symbolism all around it, which is something we keep seeing in association to the eye tattoos. Now through Metro, let's go back to Travis, who can be seen here with Don Tolliver. Don Tolliver can be seen with Kali Uchis, who's followed by this lady named Jackie. Jackie is followed by Chaos Pixie, and Chaos Pixie has an eye tattoo on her. Now through Jackie, let's go back to Kali, who leads us back to Dawn. Dawn can be seen again with Travis, who can be seen here with Kai Cenat. Kai Cenat can be seen with SZA, who is posted by this lady named Tiffany Lynette. Tiffany has an eye tattoo on her, and to no one's surprise, it's Egypt. Now through SZA, let's go back to Kai Cenat, who can be seen with Eneli Chapa. Eneli Chapa can be seen with Rod Wave. Rod Wave is followed by this guy named Giuseppe Cowan. Giuseppe has an eye in his cheek. Rod Wave also has a song with Kevin Gates, who has a song with rapper Stitches, who can be seen here with this unknown guy on the left, who has an eye tattoo in his hand. Now through Stitches, let's go back to Kevin Gates, who can be seen with iShow Speed. Speed can be seen with Mr. Beast, and Mr. Beast is followed by his company called Muscle T Gear. This company posted about this unknown guy here, and as you can see, well, it's very obvious. Now through Muscle T Gear, let's go back to Mr. Beast, who can be seen with Kai Cenat, who was posted by Justin Bieber, who was posted by this guy named Big Saul on TikTok. Big Saul has an eye tattoo on him, but yet again, we're seeing Egypt. Now through Justin, let's go back to Kai, who can be seen here with Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick has a song with Lefty Gunplay, who can be seen here with D-Baby. D-Baby can be seen with this unknown guy here, who has an eye tattoo on his chest. Now through D-Baby, let's go back to Lefty Gunplay, who has the song with Kendrick, who can be seen with Kai Cenat. Through Kai, let's go to DDG, who can be seen here with Quan. Quan has an eye tattoo on his hand. Now through DDG, let's go back to Kai, who can be seen with Blackboy Max. Max has a song with Wiz Khalifa, who can be seen here with the guy who goes by Can. Can has an eye on his finger. Now through Wiz, let's go back to Max, who leads us back to Kai, who can be seen here working with On the Radar. On the Radar posted about this guy named Gally, and Gally has 2 eye tattoos on him. Now through On the Radar, let's go back to Kai, who can be seen here with Marlon Wayans. Marlon can be seen with this lady named Marley Bloodrose, and Marley has an eye tattoo on her arm. She can be seen on the left with a lady named Bailey Sarian on the right. And just like Marley, Bailey has an eye on her. Now through Marley, let's go back to Marlon, who is with Kai, who can be seen with Denzel Curry, who has a song with BK the Rula. BK the Rula is followed by Berleezy, and Berleezy is followed by this guy named Andrew Williams. Andrew has this eye on his arm. Andrew is also followed by this guy named Kirill, who has an eye tattoo on his chest. Kirill is also following Nikita Momotov, and Nikita has an eye tattoo on his arm. Not to mention, guess what? An eye tattoo on his chest. Kirill is also following this guy named Will, and Will has an eye tattoo on his arm. Now through Kirill, let's go back to Andrew Williams, who leads us back to Berleezy, who leads us back to BK the Rula, who has the song with Denzel Curry, who has worked with Kenny Beats. Kenny can be seen here with Zach Fox, and Zach is followed by this lady named Nicole Wells, and Nicole has an eye on her finger. Nicole is also followed by this company called Beauty HQ Aesthetics, a company that's ran by this lady named Melissa Ray, and Melissa has an eye tattoo on her arm. Now through Melissa, let's go back to Beauty HQ Aesthetics, and through Beauty HQ Aesthetics, let's go back to Nicole, who leads us back to Zach, who leads us back to Kenny, who leads us back to Denzel, who can be seen here with Kai. Kai can be seen wearing Celine, and Celine is followed by this guy named Tom Cole. Tom has an eye tattoo on his arm. Now through Celine, let's go back to Kai, who can be seen here with Jimmy Fallon. Jimmy Fallon had Lenny Kravitz on his show, and Lenny Kravitz is followed by this guy named Josh Landau. Josh has an eye on his hand, and it was tattooed by this guy named Elliot Lane. Elliot Lane has an eye tattoo on him. Now through Elliot, let's go back to Josh, and through Josh, back to Lenny, who leads us back to Jimmy Fallon. Jimmy Fallon can be seen with Lil Wayne, who's followed by this person named T-Rex. T-Rex has 2 eyes on his knees. In this photo, it's a little easier to see. On both his kneecaps, he has an eye. This makes the 2 eyes he has on his chest much more interesting. I mean, come on, you're seeing what you're seeing. T-Rex was tagged with this guy named Saint Seven, who also goes by 666. 666 has a very blatant Egyptian eye tattoo. Now through him, let's go back to T-Rex, and through T-Rex, back to Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne has a song with Tyga, and Tyga has on his stomach something we keep seeing. I am what I am. This might explain the Egyptian tattoos he has on his back, which show the eye 3 different times again. You really have to wonder, why does everybody have the same tattoos? And could it really all go back to Egypt? Lil Wayne also has a song with 2 Chainz, and 2 Chainz was posted by this guy named Danelle on TikTok. Danelle has the exact same tattoo I had just shown Tyga for having. Interesting, right? Now through 2 Chainz, let's go back to Lil Wayne, who can be seen with Donald Trump. Donald Trump can be seen with his son Donald Trump Jr. Donald Trump Jr. can be seen on the right with this lady on the left named Marina. Marina can be seen on the right with this guy named Mr. Drip on the left. Mr. Drip has an eye tattoo in his hand. Now through Marina, let's go back to Donald Trump Jr., who leads us back to Donald Trump, who can be seen with Shaquille O'Neal. Shaq can be seen here with Justin Wadlington, and Justin has an eye tattoo in his stomach. Again, it's right here. This might explain the eye tattoo he has on his neck, which is Egyptian. Now through Shaq, let's go back to Donald Trump, who leads us back to Lil Wayne, who can be seen wearing the same type of shorts as Rihanna. Rihanna is followed by a company called Ghost Sticks, and Ghost Sticks, at a carnival, had a shop here, in which one of the employees has 2 different eye tattoos on her arm. It's kinda hard to see, but once you look, you can't deny it. Now through Ghost Sticks, let's go back to Rihanna, who leads us back to Lil Wayne, who can be seen with Jimmy Fallon, who can be seen with Post Malone, whose personal photographer is Adam DeGrosse. Adam DeGrosse is followed by this guy named Rafael de Lalande, and Rafael has an eye tattoo on his head. Rafael can be seen with his partner Rachel, and Rachel is no different. Rafael can be seen again, but this time with an unknown guy who has an eye tattoo in his chest. And in this photo, Rafael can be seen with 2 more people who have eye tattoos. The first guy you saw on the left has an eye right here on his back, and the second guy to the right is no different. He has one on his back too. Now through Rafael, let's go back to Adam DeGrosse, who leads us back to Post Malone, who can be seen with Jimmy Fallon. Jimmy Fallon can be seen with Will Smith, who's followed by Johnny Garso. Johnny has an eye on him. Now through Will, let's go back to Jimmy Fallon, who can be seen with The Rock. The Rock is followed by this guy named Daniel Oland, and Daniel has an eye on his shoulder. Now through The Rock, let's go back to Jimmy Fallon, who can be seen here with Andrew Lincoln. Andrew can be seen with Chandler Riggs, who can be seen with Cray. Cray is followed by this person named Toombs, and Toombs has an eye tattoo on his arm. Now through Cray, let's go back to Chandler, who can be seen here with Michael Cudlitz. Michael Cudlitz is following this guy named Isaac Baroque. Isaac has a Masonic all-seeing eye tattoo here. Now through Michael Cudlitz, let's go back to Chandler Riggs, who can be seen here with Chris Comstock, aka Marshmello. Marshmello can be seen with Juice WRLD, who has a song with Brendan Urie. Brendan Urie has a song with Travie McCoy, who's followed by this person named 1111 Wolves on Instagram. Wolves can be seen here with not only this eye tattoo here, but with this one on her forehead. This makes the third all-seeing eye tattoo she has on her back much more interesting. Now through Travie, let's go back to Brendan, who leads us back to Juice WRLD, who's worked with rapper XXXTentacion. X has worked with Lil Wayne, who can be seen here with Jimmy Fallon again. Jimmy Fallon can be seen with Post Malone, who has a song called Tommy Lee. Tommy Lee can be seen with this guy named El Estaperillo, and as you can see, he has an eye tattoo on his chest. Now through Tommy Lee, let's go back to Post Malone, who can be seen with Jimmy Fallon, who can be seen with Meghan Trainor. Meghan was posted by this guy named Maddie on TikTok, and Maddie has an eye tattoo on him. Through Meghan, let's go back to Jimmy, who can be seen with Jennifer Aniston, who's followed by Cam Wilkin. Cam has an eye tattoo on him. Now through Jennifer, let's go back to Jimmy Fallon, who has worked with Green Day. Green Day is followed by this guy named Jordan Perrin, and Jordan has what's obvious on his back. If you can't see what I'm showing you at this point, then I honestly don't even know why you're watching this presentation. I am what I am. And if you're not seeing eye to eye with that, that's on you. Jordan Perrin posted about this unknown guy you see at the bottom right, who has an eye tattoo on his hand. In the same photo, we see this guy to the left, named Crucifucked666. Crucifucked has this tattoo of Satan on his chest. But what's really important about this is the fact that we see the sigil of Lucifer right above it. This sigil represents the Eye of Ra and the Eye of Horus, the dark and light of the human mind, the duality of existence. With everything I've been showing you throughout this presentation, this should be a given, and it genuinely shouldn't be questioned. But if you don't believe me yet, then let me continue, because I have a whole lot more to show. Crucifucked can be seen with this guy on the left, named Manny Metal. Manny has an eye tattoo on his arm, but again, we're seeing Satan right next to it. In this photo, we see Crucifucked again, but this time with a guy named King Des Millard. On this post by Millard, we see this person named Oleg Siak comment. Oleg Siak posted about this group called Signs of the Swarm, in which one of the members named David, who can be seen here, has an all-seeing eye on his neck. I mean, come on, it's right here. Now through Oleg, let's go back to Millard, who leads us back to Crucifucked. Crucifucked can be seen here, outside the front of Blenheim Palace. As you can see, within the architectural design, there are eyes. Blenheim Palace was actually the birthplace of Winston Churchill. Winston Churchill can be seen here with Queen Elizabeth, who can be seen here with Donald Trump. Trump was mentioned by rapper X. X had all of these books here, with the most significant one being the yellow one you see on the far right. It's called the Thoth Tarot, and again, this leads us to the same symbolism, literally right in front of us. The book Thoth Tarot was actually made for Aleister Crowley by a woman named Lady Freda Harris. Aleister Crowley is no different to showing this eye, and of course, it's Egypt. Now through Crowley and the Thoth Tarot, let's go back to X, whose real name is Jose Onfroy. Jose is who inspired me to do all of this. So when you see me on the right with this unknown guy on the left here who has an eye tattoo, well, let's just say I'm carrying X's torch. This other guy, Jay, who can be seen again with me, is more proof of that. Now through me, let's go back to Jase, aka XXXTentacion. X can be seen with Adam22, who can be seen here with Let Love Less Live. Let Love Less Live is followed by Blossy Blue. Blossy Blue has an eye tattoo on her arm. Again, it's right here. Blasi can be seen with this lady in the middle, named Crying Queenie. Queenie can be seen with this guy named Xavier on the left. And as you can see, he has an eye on his shoulder. Queenie can also be seen with this lady named Winsy Joe. And Winsy Joe is no different. Now through Queenie, let's go back to Blasi, who leads us back to Let Love Less Live, who can be seen here with Baby Thumpy. Baby Thumpy has an eye on her stomach. Baby Thumpy can be seen here following Soul and Clothing. Soul and Clothing posted this unknown lady here, and as you can see, she has an eye tattoo on her chest. Through Solon, let's go back to Baby Thumpy, who leads us back to Let Love Less Live, who leads us back to Adam 22. Adam 22 is followed by Faith Vixen, and Faith Vixen can be seen with this unknown lady on the right, who has an eye tattoo on her butt. Now through Faith Vixen, let's go back to Adam, who can be seen with Lil Pete, who can be seen here with his mom Catherine. On this post by Catherine here, we see this lady named She Added comment. She Added has an eye tattoo on her finger. Now through Catherine, let's go back to Pete, who leads us back to Adam, who can be seen with Dino the Barber. Dino the Barber is followed by Skyen Carrizales, and Skyen has an eye tattoo on her. Again, it's right here. Through Dino, let's go to Raphael, who can be seen with Carson, who's followed by this guy named Tintin Rex. Rex has an eye on his arm. Carson is also followed by this guy named Czech, and Czech is followed by this guy named Chris Massaro. Chris Massaro can be seen with this guy named Frankie Matrano, and Frankie has an eye tattoo on his arm. Through Frankie, let's go back to Chris, and through Chris, let's go back to Czech. Through Czech, let's go back to Carson, who can be seen with Raphael, who can be seen with Dino, who can be seen with Adam 22, who can be seen here interviewing FYBJ Man. FYBJ Man can be seen in the top left photo with a guy named AOKD11. AOKD can be seen in the middle with this lady named Dolly, who has an eye tattoo on her chest. This makes KD with this guy named Duquesne significant, because Duquesne has an eye tattoo on his shoulder. KD can also be seen with this lady named Spicy Mamas, who has an all-seeing eye tattoo on her hand. Now through KD, let's go back to FYBJ Man, who leads us back to Adam, who can be seen here with Young Dolph. Young Dolph has a song with Key Glock, who's followed by this guy named Payaso Porlé. Payaso Porlé, even though it's hard to see, has an eye tattoo on his hand. Now through Key Glock, let's go back to Young Dolph, who leads us back to Adam 22. Adam can be seen with his wife Lena, and Lena is followed by this lady named Luna Baby 69. Luna Baby has not only an eye on her wrist, that's kind of hard to see, but also another on her arm. Through Lena, let's go back to Adam, who can be seen with Trippy Red. Trippy Red was posted by this lady named Daughter of Hecate, and Daughter of Hecate has an all-seeing eye of Horus on the back of her neck. Trippy Red also has a song with Dax, who was posted by this guy named Wicked Redbeard. Wicked Redbeard has an eye of Horus tattoo on him. Now through Dax, let's go back to Trippy, who has a song here referencing Rio de Young OG. Rio de Young OG was posted by this guy named Caden, and Caden has an eye of Horus on his arm. Through Rio, let's go back to Trippy, who has a song with Rapper X, who had one of his albums reviewed by this guy named Anthony Fantano. Anthony Fantano is followed by this lady named Olive, and Olive is followed by this person named Arizona Rose. Arizona has an eye tattoo on her chest. Again, it's right here. Arizona can be seen with this guy named Gerald on the right, who has an all-seeing eye tattooed on his leg. It's hard to see, but it's right here. Now through Arizona, let's go back to Olive, who leads us back to Anthony, who leads us back to X, who has the song here with Jimmy Levy. Jimmy Levy is followed by this guy named Daddy Gus 99, and Gus has an eye tattoo on his arm. Now through Jimmy, let's go back to X, who can be seen here with rapper Scrim. Scrim can be seen with Boozy Badass, and Boozy Badass was posted by this guy named Retire His Jersey. Retire His Jersey can be seen on the right with this unknown guy on the left who has an all-seeing eye in his hand. Now through Retire His Jersey, let's go back to Boozy, who can be seen here with Scrim, who again can be seen with X. X can be seen with his baby mama, Genesis, who can be seen here with his son Gekum. Gekum and Genesis lead us back to Check the Star. Check the Star can be seen with this guy named Shorty's World, and Shorty's World posted about this unknown lady here who has an all-seeing eye tattoo on her leg. Now through Shorty's World, let's go back to Check the Star, who can be seen here with Aaron Carter. Aaron Carter can be seen with Joshua October, and Joshua October can be seen with this unknown lady here who has an eye tattoo on her wrist. This makes Josh being with this guy named Davey Sachs significant, because Davey has an eye tattoo on his chest. not to mention an all-seeing eye of Horus under his ear. Now through Josh, let's go back to Aaron Carter, who could be seen with Check the Star, who could be seen with Khaled Amelie. Khaled can be seen with Jimmy Levy, who again has this song with X. X can be seen with Adam 22, who could be seen with Lil Pete, who has a song with Lil Tracy, who has in his profile picture on Instagram, Hello Kitty. Hello Kitty is followed by this lady named Sophia Buryok, and Sophia has an eye tattoo on her. Hello Kitty is also followed by this lady named Sarah, and Sarah has an eye on her. Now through Hello Kitty, let's go back to Lil Tracy, who leads us back to Pete, who could be seen here with Puya, who could be seen on the far right with this guy named Only One Two. Only One Two can be seen with Kasky, and Kasky has this eye tattoo on him, not to mention this other all-seeing eye on his neck. Again, it's Egypt. This makes the second eye he has on his neck much more significant, not to mention all of these eyes here he has on the back of his head. Now if all that wasn't enough, then seeing that he has this tattoo here of a third eye, well, there you have it. Kasky can be seen with this guy named David Blanche, and David has an eye in his stomach. Kasky was also tagged on this post by a guy named Dever T. God, another who has an eye on him. Kasky can be seen with this guy named Riker Edge Toffin, who has an all-seeing eye tattoo here. Again, it's right here. On this same post where we see Riker with Kasky, you can see this person named Super Mex, and Super Mex has an eye tattoo on their neck. Huh, interesting. Now through Riker, let's go back to Kasky, who can be seen here with this unknown guy. This unknown guy has not only an eye tattoo on his forehead, but also an eye tattoo on his arm. But if this wasn't enough, then seeing the eye of Horus he has on his neck should. He can be seen on the right with this guy named Honestav on the left, and Honestav has an eye tattoo on his chest. Now through this unknown guy, let's go back to Kasky, who can be seen here with this guy named Mark Villancourt. Mark has an eye tattoo on his back, and he can be seen here with his brother Brian. Brian is no different. He has an eye tattoo as well. I mean, come on. You're seeing what you're seeing. Brian can be seen to the right with this unknown guy to the far left. Again, it's right in front of us. Now through Brian who's with Mark, let's go back to Kasky. This photo where you had seen all three was posted by this guy named Tulane James, and Tulane James has an eye tattoo on his stomach. Going back to this photo with Kasky, we see this guy on the far left being tagged with a group called Original Grinders. Original Grinders posted about this lady named Erica Young, and Erica has an eye tattoo on her stomach, not to mention another on her leg. She could be seen with this guy named Sancho, who could be seen with this guy named Tori Lancaster. On Tori Lancaster's Instagram, you can see at the bottom left a post where we see a bunch of unknown people, one of which having an eye tattoo. Now through Tori, let's go back to Sancho, who is with Erica, who leads us back to Original Grinders, the company that was tagged with Kasky. Kasky can be seen with this lady named Brooklyn. Brooklyn has an eye tattoo on her ear, another on her thigh, which is very obvious, these eyes right here, and then another eye tattoo on her hand. Even though it's hard to see, it is here. This might explain the all-seeing eye of Horus she has on her palm, or maybe this eye tattoo she has on her back. Finally, we also see this tattoo on her, which is pretty telling. The last tattoo you had just seen was made by a lady named Faith Michaela, and Faith Michaela is following this lady named Donna Luciano. Donna Luciano can be seen with this guy named Frankie on the right, and Frankie has an eye tattoo on his arm. Donna can be seen at the bottom in this photo. The guy at the top left is named Shane, and the lady right above her goes by Hippie Fox Art. Shane has an eye tattoo on his arm, while Hippie Fox Art has an eye on her chest. Hippie Fox Art did this tattoo of an eye on a person named Michaela Wallace. So this again should show how interconnected everybody is through symbolism, whether we know it or not. Now through Shane and Hippie, let's go back to Donna, who leads us back to Faith Michaela. Faith Michaela is following this guy named Bryn Beer, and Bryn Beer has a Masonic eye tattoo on his hand. Faith is also following this guy named Charlie Gates, and Charlie Gates tattooed this guy named Aya Mora. Mora not only has an eye on his neck, but also another one right beneath it. This makes the third eye he has on his hand much more significant. Mora can be seen with this unknown lady on the right, who has an eye tattoo as well. Again, it's right here. Mora also tattooed this guy named Mike Bone, who has an eye too. On this post by Mora, you can see I tattooed this guy named Riser, and Riser actually commented on the post. This is the tattoo that Mora gave him. I personally thought I saw a second one in his profile picture, so I asked him. He then replied, confirming what I thought it was. So now that I know that, here's the second eye, Mora tattooed on him. Mora also tattooed this lady named Lindsay Dunn, who has an eye on her neck just like him. Lindsay can be seen with Rick Genest, and Rick Genest had an eye tattoo on his shoulder. Through Lindsay, let's go back to Mora, who leads us back to Charlie Gates, who leads us back to Faith Michaela, who leads us back to Brooklyn, who leads us back to Kasky. Kasky can be seen with Nate Chapa, and Nate Chapa has an eye on her elbow. Kasky can be seen with this guy named Tommy Blaze, who has an eye tattoo on his chin. On one of Tommy's posts, this lady named Danny commented, Danny, just like him, has an eye tattoo. Now through Tommy, who led me to her, let's go back to Kasky. Kasky was tagged on this post by a guy named GCR Deji, and GCR Deji has an eye on his arm. Kasky can be seen with this guy named Jester Sarmi, who has this tattoo on his chest. Kasky was also used on this post where a guy named Tony Coda was tagged. Tony has an eye on his neck. Kasky can also be seen with this guy named Mill Bill. And Mill Bill can be seen with this unknown lady on the left who has an eye that's kind of hard to see on her hand. Now through Mill Bill, let's go back to Kasky, who was tagged on this post by a guy named Mac Made Music. Mac Made Music can be seen with his partner here, and his partner, as shown in this post, has an all-seeing eye on her finger. Through Mac Made, let's go back to Kasky, who was posted by this guy named Country Dad Kicks, another who has an eye tattoo on him. Come on, you're seeing what you're seeing. Kasky was also tagged on this post by a lady named Crystal, and Crystal has an eye tattoo that's hard to see. Again, it's right here. This makes the other eye tattoo she has on her head much more interesting. Kasky was tagged with this unknown guy here who has an eye tattoo on his palm. The company that posted him is called Stay Within. And as you can see, just like the tattoo he has on his palm, the logo is self-explanatory. Kasky can be seen with DJ Lust, who has an eye tattoo on his hand. Kasky can be seen with this guy on the right named Ryan Severe. Ryan can be seen here replying to a guy named Floyd on Instagram. Floyd has an eye of Horus on his finger. Again, it's here. Now through Ryan, let's go back to Kasky. Kasky can be seen here with a guy named Lil Johnny, and Lil Johnny has an eye tattoo on his wrist. Lil Johnny tagged this guy named GMC Boss, and GMC Boss is no different. He has an eye as well. Lil Johnny can be seen with Trey Cyrus, who can be seen with Miley Cyrus, who can be seen with Katy Perry, who on this post here, you see a lady named Jessica Golich comment. Jessica has an eye tattoo on her. Katy Perry can be seen with Jimmy Levy, who has a song with rapper X, who has a song with Lil Uzi Vert, who has worked with this guy named DB. DB is following Euro Gotti, and Euro Gotti has an eye tattoo on his neck. Now through DB, let's go back to Uzi, who has a song with Lil Wayne, who could be seen with Donald Trump, who could be seen with Jelly Roll, who could be seen with Diamond Dallas Page. Diamond Dallas Page is followed by Chris Cavallini. Chris Cavallini is followed by Tom Against the Matrix. Tom Against the Matrix has an Eye of Horus tattoo on his neck. Now through Tom, let's go back to Chris. And through Chris, let's go back to Diamond Dallas, who could be seen with Jelly Roll, who could be seen with Trump, who could be seen here with Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel can be seen with Bernie Sanders, who was put jokingly on this post by a guy named Rico the Barber. Rico has an eye tattoo on his leg. Through Bernie, let's go back to Jimmy Kimmel, who leads us back to Trump, who could be seen with Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan can be seen with David Goggins. And David Goggins is followed by this guy named Victor Villarreal. Victor Villarreal is following this guy named Michael Covelli. Michael Covelli has an eye tattoo on him. On this post by Victor here, you can see a guy named Isaiah Tats comment. Isaiah Tats has, guess what? An all-seeing eye on his chest. Now through Victor, let's go back to David, who leads us back to Joe, who could be seen with Donald Trump, who could be seen with Nicky Jam, who was posted by this guy named Archangel Tattoo. Archangel Tattoo also worked with Johanna Vargas, and Johanna has an eye tattoo on the back of her neck. Archangel Tattoos also worked with this guy named Yank de Oliveira, another who has an eye tattoo on their hand. Archangel Tattoo is followed by this guy named Giuseppe Toni, and Giuseppe Toni, even though it's hard to see, has an eye tattoo on his arm. This might explain the serpents he has on both sides of his neck. Remember, I am what I am. Giuseppe also posted about this guy named Micro TDH, another who has an eye tattoo on him. Now through Giuseppe, let's go back to Archangel Tattoo, who leads us back to Nicky Jam, who has a song with Annual AA. Annual has a song with Archangel. Archangel has a song with Gonzi. Gonzi is followed by Steve Vibes. Steve has an eye on his hand. Through Gonzi, let's go back to Archangel, who leads us back to Annuel. Annuel can be seen with Trump, who can be seen with Aiden Ross, who can be seen here with Anthony Mack. Again, the eye is here. Now through Aiden, let's go to Kai, who can be seen with Chris Brown. Chris Brown has a song with Fat Joe, and Fat Joe can be seen with this guy named I Am Tony Sunshine. Tony Sunshine has an eye tattoo on him. Now through Fat Joe, let's go back to Chris Brown, who leads us back to Kai, who can be seen with Adam22, who posted about NASCAR Aloe. NASCAR Aloe can be seen with this lady named Gothy, and Gothy has an eye tattoo on her. Through NASCAR, let's go back to Adam22, who can be seen with NLE Choppa. NLE has worked with this guy named Superstaro, and Superstaro has an eye tattoo on his arm. Superstaro was also tagged on this post here with a guy named VP the Street Scholar. As you can see, VP has an eye tattoo on his stomach. Superstaro was also tagged by this guy named Chris Jones. The reason why I'm showing you this, because Chris has an eye on him. Again, it's right here. Superstar was also tagged here with a guy named Dej Vid Jones, and Dej has an eye tattoo on his finger. I mean, come on. Again, it's right here. I had already shown this tattoo on Superstar a long time ago, but let me show you something else I found through it. This tattoo was drawn by a guy named Rob Wild, who can be seen tagged on this post here with these two people here. The first is Cam, who has an all-seeing eye on his arm, and the second is Lisa, who has one on her elbow. Rob Wild, who was tagged on that post you had just seen, can be seen on the right with this guy on the left named Levi Benton. Levi has an eye tattoo on him, not to mention this other one here of an owl. Rob also tattooed an eye on this girl named Ashley Miller. As you can see, it's always here, and you can't deny it. Rob Wild can be seen on the far left here with a guy in the middle named Kimosabi. Kimosabi has an eye on his chest of an owl. From Rob, let's go back to Superstaro. And from Superstaro, let's go back to Dej, who can be seen here on the far left with this lady named Anita. Anita has an eye on her arm. Even though it's hard to see, it is what it is. Anita was also tagged on this post here by a guy named Raider Adam, and Adam has an eye tattoo on his chest. Through Anita, I found this company called Suicide Angels, in which posted this lady named Petra Vrankova. Petra has an eye on her, and it's very obvious. Petra can be seen on the right with this lady on the left named Dominika Dudova. Dominika has an eye tattoo on her chest, not to mention another one on her butt. This makes the one that we see on her elbow much more interesting. Finally, she has another eye tattoo on her leg. Come on, it's right here. Dominika was also posted by Suicide Angels. This same group posted about this lady named Monica, and Monica has an eye on her arm. Suicide Angels also posted about this lady named Nicole Zechalova, and Nicole has an eye of Horus on her stomach. Again, it's right here. Suicide Angels also posted this unknown lady here who has an eye tattoo on her chest. Suicide Angels posted about this lady named Veronica Jokova, and Veronica has an eye tattoo on her back. Suicide Angels also posted about this lady named Sarah, who has an eye on her neck. They also posted this person here named Lady Nikus. She has an all-seeing eye on her stomach, not to mention another one on her thigh. Suicide Angels is following this guy named Thomas Dvorak. Thomas posted about this lady named DJ La Panda, and DJ has an eye tattoo on her chest. Now through Thomas, let's go back to Suicide Angels, who leads us to this guy named Pete Wagner. Pete Wagner posted about this lady named Tristis, and Tristis has not only this eye on her neck, but another one on the other side. I am what I am. This probably explains the third eye she also has here. I mean, come on. She also has an eye on her cheek, not to mention another one here on her shoulder, which makes this one important, not to mention all of these here, and this one. And if all that wasn't enough, then seeing this one she has on her foot, well, this should seal the deal. She could be seen with this guy on the right named Richard Sedlicek, and Richard has an eye tattoo on his leg. Tristis can also be seen with this unknown guy on the far right here, who has an eye tattoo on his elbow. Tristis can be seen with this lady named Delia, and she has 2 eyes on her palms tattooed, not to mention 2 eyes on her elbows. Wait a second. I am what I am. Again, I am what I am. I am what I am. Are you understanding? This is why she has the eyes all on her arm as well. Tristis can also be seen with this lady named Meg, and Meg can be seen with this lady named Dara D, and Dara D has an eye on her. Now through Meg, let's go back to Tristis, who leads us back to Delia, who's following this company called Your Weirdest Clothing and Thrift Shop. This company is owned by this lady here, who has an eye tattoo on her stomach. Delia is also following Diva Vampirica, and Diva has an eye tattoo on her shoulder. Delia is also following this lady named Claudie, who posted this lady named Victoria, another who has an eye tattoo on her. If you can't see what I'm showing you at this point, I genuinely don't know what to say to you. Claudie also posted about this lady named Malkareth. Malkareth has an eye tattoo on her hand here, which is obvious. All you gotta do is look. Not to mention this other eye here, which again, is obvious when you look. This is probably why she has the eye on her palm. Another thing we had just seen. Oh wait, I am what I am. No, seriously, I am what I am. The fact that she has this satanic tattoo on her back and wears a sigil of Lucifer as a necklace, well, I am what I am. And if all that wasn't enough, then finding out she has an eye tattoo on her stomach, well, there you have it. It's always been right in front of us, and it always will be. Now through Malg, let's go back to this guy named Pete Wagner, who was followed by Suicide Angels. The company that I found through Anita. Through Anita, let's go back to Dej, who leads us back to Superstarro. Superstarro worked with NLE Choppa, who could be seen with Adam 22, who could be seen with rapper X. X can be seen with Ski Mask the Slump God, and Ski Mask has a song with Danny Towers. Danny Towers is followed by this guy named Brap Vlogs, and Brap has an eye tattoo on his neck. He can also be seen with this guy to the left named Whiteworks, who has an eye tattoo on his leg. Again, it's right here. Now through Brap, let's go back to Danny, who leads us back to Ski Mask. Ski Mask has a song with Future, and Future has worked with this guy named Space 305. Space 305 can be seen with this guy named Rico Did It, and Rico Did It has an eye tattoo on his hand. Now to most, it looks like it's just a camera lens, and honestly, years ago, I would agree with you. But now after years of research, what you're seeing is much more deeper than just surface level. Now through Rico, let's go back to Space, and through Space, let's go back to Future. Future has a song with Lil Wayne, who could be seen with Trump, who could be seen with Jelly Roll, who could be seen with Ronnie Radke, who could be seen with Alex Terrible. Alex Terrible is followed by Eric Shreds. Eric has an eye tattoo in his hand, and on the same post where I saw the eye tattoo, you can see him with this guy named TJ Bell. TJ can be seen with Travis Barker, who could be seen with MGK, who could be seen with Aiden Ross, who could be seen with Trump, who could be seen with Shaq, who could be seen with this guy named XLTE. XLTE can be seen with this lady named Rotted Flesh, and Rotted Flesh has an eye tattoo on her foot. It might be hard to see, but I did ask her, and she confirmed that it was an eye. Rotted Flesh is followed by this guy named Tinnybra, and Tinnybra has on the left and right 2 different eye tattoos on his neck. This makes the satanic tattoo he has on his chest and the sigil of Lucifer on his forehead much more significant, especially when you know how far this presentation has come and where we have ended up. I am what I am. If you can't see that, then that's on you. Tinnybra is following the Satanic Temple. At the Satanic Temple, you can see this guy named Ruben Marin taking a picture. Ruben has an eye tattoo on his arm. Again, it's right here. Maybe this explains the Eye of Horus he has on his leg. At the same Satanic Temple he took the picture at, you also see this unknown lady here, who has a tattoo of the goat with an all-seeing eye. At the same Satanic Temple, we see this lady named Wanderwani, and Wanderwani has an eye tattoo on her hand. This makes this lady named Samantha at the same Satanic Temple much more significant, because she has an eye tattoo on her arm just like everyone else. I mean, genuinely, you can't deny this. Through the Satanic Temple, let's go back to Tinnybra, who's also following this lady named Nico. Nico can be seen with this guy named Blood Braided Soul, and as you can see, he has an eye tattoo on his arm. Through Nico, let's go back to Tinnybra, who's also following this lady named Jessica. Jessica has an eye tattoo on her arm, and on the same post by Jessica, we see 2 women named Vamp Gore and Deadly Fairy comment. Vamp has an eye on her thigh, which is obvious, and Fairy has one on her chest. Now through Jessica, who led me to those 2 girls, let's go back to Tinnybra. Tinnybra is also following this lady named Evelyn, and Evelyn has an eye tattoo on her butt. Tinny is also following this lady named Lucia, who goes by Lucifer's son. As you can see, next to a satanic pentagram, we see the eye. What makes this extremely significant is when you find out Tinnybra is also following this lady named Smorgas, who has an eye on her neck as well. Tinny is following this lady named Regiane Sanchez Lima, who, guess what, has an eye tattoo on her hand. Tinny can be seen here following this guy named Ryan, and Ryan not only has a satanic tattoo on his chest, but an all-seeing eye on his leg. Tinnybra is also following this lady named Michaela Creasy, and Michaela has an eye on her hand. Not only this, but she has another one right above it. Tinnybra is following this guy named Francesco Bortolini, and Francesco not only has a satanic tattoo on his forehead, but an all-seeing eye on his chest. Again, it's right in front of us. Tinny is following this lady named Nancy, who has an eye on her as well. It's hard to see, but it's right here. Not to mention this other one on her head. Finally, she has another one here. Tinny is also following this lady named Krishna. And Krishna not only has a satanic tattoo on her, but also an all-seeing eye as well. Here's an HD shot. Tinny is following this lady named Jedi Starseed, who has an eye on her chest, not to mention more, on her neck. Again, what we're seeing is obvious, and the more and more you see it, the more and more it becomes undeniable. Now through Tinny, let's finally go back to Rotted Flesh, who leads us back to XLTE, who is with Shaq, who could be seen with Donald Trump, who could be seen with Aiden Ross, who could be seen with Drake. Through Drake, let's go to Yeet. Yeet bought this expensive all-seeing eye necklace. Now why would he do that? Seriously, what is with this? Through Drake, let's go to Travis Scott. On a song called Telekinesis, Travis Scott mentions Lucifer. He says, and I quote, "Mobbing with my angels dodging Lucifer." Travis can be seen here with Young Lean. Young Lean has Lucifer tattooed on his neck. Travis also has a song with Trippie Redd, who has this all-seeing eye chain. Again, it's right here. And I'm supposed to assume I'm just looking too far into things? Trippie Redd has a song with rapper Summers. And on a song called No Really, Summers says, and I quote, "I'm Lucifer's child when I look in the mirror." Trippie Redd also has a song with Lil Yachty, who could be seen with this all-seeing eye pendant. Lil Yachty has a song with Diablo, who goes by, and I quote, Lil Lucifer. Above the two pictures where you see that, you can see how Diablo has a song with Ola Runt. Ola Runt said, and I quote, "I am Lucifer Woodstock." Now through Ola, let's go back to Diablo. And through Diablo, back to Lil Yachty. Through Yachty, let's go back to Trippie, who has a song here with EK Stacy. EK Stacy has the sigil of Lucifer tattooed on his hand. This makes Trippie wearing a shirt of Marilyn Manson significant, because Marilyn Manson has the sigil of Lucifer tattooed on him as well. He was also given the title of High Priestess by the Church of Satan's own Anton LaVey. The reason why I'm showing you Anton is because he named his son Satan LaVey. The big kicker, though, is when you find out his son had Lucifer tattooed on his chest. Now through Anton LaVey, let's go back to Marilyn Manson, who had his shirt worn here by Trippie Redd. Trippie Redd has a song with Young Thug, and Young Thug can be seen here with an eye necklace. Trippie Redd also has a song with MGK, who said this.
What's my favorite comic series or comic book? What's my favorite comic book character?
Of all time?
You know this.
Lucifer?
100%.
Yeah.
This makes Trippie having a song with Lil Wayne significant, because on the song called Funeral by Lil Wayne, he says, and I quote, "I bust in with that Uzi though, and they look like they saw Lucifer." Lil Wayne can be seen with Eminem, who has a song called Lucifer, not to mention this other one called Kings Never Die, in which he says, and I quote, "'Cause here I sit in Lucifer's den by the Dutch oven." Eminem has a song with Kanye, and Kanye had this Horus chain. Remember, I am what I am. So this chain that Kanye wore is a direct understanding of what this entire presentation is about. Kanye can be seen with Jay-Z. Both of them have a song called Lucifer. Jay-Z can be seen here with Marina Abramovic. Marina Abramovic can be seen with Lady Gaga, who said this.
Sometimes they don't want to, and they're, Gaga, we can't get, the frequency's weird, and, it's sounding a little bit strange, and I'm like, if you don't get this right now, I swear to Lucifer, I'm gonna, I get a little bit mad.
Lady Gaga is associated to Billie Eilish, and Billie Eilish, on a song called All the Good Girls Go to Hell, says, and I quote, "My Lucifer is lonely." Now through Billie, let's go back to Lady Gaga, who can be seen with Marina. Marina can be seen with actor James Franco. James Franco can be seen with filmmaker Kenneth Anger. And Kenneth Anger had a Lucifer tattoo on his chest. Why am I showing you this? Well, listen to what he had to say about what this means.
I am who I am, and it's tattooed on my chest, so in case I forget. You see, people that get Alzheimer's suddenly can forget their own names. But I've got mine tattooed on my chest, so if they find my body, they can identify me.
So, I'm more than just on point. I'm telling you the truth for how it is. Kenneth Anger actually made this film called Lucifer Rising, in which at the top, you can see what you're seeing. Through Kenneth, let's go back to James, who could be seen with Marina. And through Marina, let's go back to Lady Gaga, who could be seen here with Katy Perry. Katy Perry can be seen with Jimmy Levy, who has a song with rapper X. Through X, let's go back to the Thoth Tarot, which he had books on. Remember, the Thoth Tarot was made for Aleister Crowley. And Aleister Crowley himself even spoke of Lucifer. During this interview with Marilyn Manson from Jam magazine back in 1995, he mentions Aleister Crowley and Anton LaVey as being highly influential figures in his life. In this photo, you can see Marilyn Manson with his ex Asia Argento. Asia on the right can be seen wearing a jacket with Lucifer shown. Now through Marilyn, let's go back to Trippie Redd, who has the song with rapper XXXTentacion. X can be seen with Scrim, one of the members of Suicide Boys. On a song called Runnin' Through the Seventh with My Woadies, Scrim says, and I quote, "Lucifer, please come save me." Scrim can be seen on the right, with Ruby on the left. On a song called You Are Now Tuning Into 66.6 FM, you hear Ruby say, and I quote, "Another line that shook you up, I signed the line for Lucifer." Right here on her face, once again. Now through Ruby, let's go back to Scrim, who leads us back to X, who has a song with Kanye West. Kanye can be seen here with Luca Sabbat. Luca has a Lucifer tattoo on him. Now through Kanye, let's go back to X. X had a song with Denzel Curry. On a song called Widescreen by Denzel, he mentions Lucifer. And then on this other song called Me Now, he mentions Lucifer again. Through X, who is with Denzel, let's go to Lil Peep. Lil Peep can be seen with Since When. And Since When has a sigil of Lucifer tattooed on his hand. Now through Peep, let's go to rapper Lil Tracy. Lil Tracy has worked with Bad Neighbors. And Bad Neighbors has an album cover in which we see the sigil of Lucifer. It's at the bottom here, but it is there. Now through Lil Tracy, let's go to Chris Miles. Chris was tagged by this guy named Kilo. And the reason why I'm showing you this is very significant. Not just because he has an all-seeing eye in his arm, which is very visible, but also because of the sigil of Lucifer he has tattooed on his forehead. I started the second presentation with rapper XXXTentacion. Both Kilo and X have the same tattoo on their nose. This makes this freestyle by X significant because he says, and I quote, "Call me Lucifer the foe." With all this being shown and said, I'm your host Jibo, and this has been Seeing Eye to Eye.
I've got one that can see.